Good morning friends. Today I am here with the topic excretion. Today's first class, and in this let me talk about the contents, what all we are going to discuss in this topic. In the contents, first I will give you an introduction about the process of excretion, the different kinds of excretory products that we find in the animal kingdom. Then we are going to talk about excretion in human beings, how excretion happens, and it mainly happens through the kidney. So we will talk about the structure of kidney, the function of kidney, and kidney is made up of the functional unit, the structural unit, that is the nephron. So we will discuss the structure of nephron and also how it works and what is its function. Then we will talk about the detailed process of urine formation. Then the next topic would be how artificial kidney works and what is hemodialysis in case of kidney failure, how this process works. And finally, we are going to take up how excretion happens in case of plants. So let us begin with the topic excretion. And to begin with, let us first try to define what is excretion. Now you all know that metabolic activities are going on in the living cells round the clock, all the time, 24 hours. And during these biochemical reactions, toxic waste products are produced. Water content is also there, either increased or decreased, and ionic imbalance is also created. So during all these things that are happening, the waste products that are generated have to be removed. So the biological process that is involved in the removal of toxic wastes from the body of an organism is called excretion. And there is another term, what is called as osmoregulation, which is very similar to excretion but little different. So students tend to confuse between the two. So let us talk about it in this reference. That is, osmoregulation is nothing but it is simply the process of maintaining the right amount of water and proper ionic balance in the body. So excretion is actually the removal of metabolic wastes from the body, whereas osmoregulation is simply the maintenance of the right amount of water and ions in the body. So that way the two definitions differ. Now in case of unicellular organisms, the waste products are removed from the cells into the surrounding simply by the process of diffusion. Because in unicellular organisms, the cells are very simple. Their body organization is simple. So diffusion alone is enough to take care of its excretory need. Whereas in case of multicellular organisms, the waste products are removed through specialized organs, what we call as the proper organ development. In different groups of animals, we have different kinds of excretory organs, which we will be talking further in our discussion. So multicellular organisms, the process of removal is not simple because it happens through specialized excretory organs. Then what about the plants? Plants also have developed a variety of techniques to get rid of their waste materials. For examples, their waste materials can be stored in their vacuoles or in the form of gums and resins, or they may shed their waste materials through the falling leaves, or it can be simply excreted into the soil. So we talk about it in the later part of our discussion. Now let us proceed to the next slide. So here we talk about basically the excretory products that are found or formed in the different groups of animals. The principal excretory product is mainly the urea, uric acid, then ammonia. These are the principal ones. So excretion actually is the process by which the waste products of metabolism, not only metabolism but all other non-useful materials which have accumulated in the body, have to be eliminated from the body of an organism. And in vertebrates, this is primarily carried out through various places like your lungs. It can be through the skin, but the main excretory organ is the kidney. So we talk about kidney. We will talk about kidney in detail. So, and this is a very wide contrast with simply the process of secretion, because kidneys have got a very important role to perform, and it is a very elaborate discussion. Whereas here in case of skin, it is simply secretion of sweat. So that is also an excretory product. Then it can be gases like your carbon dioxide. So actually excretion is an essential process, and it is essential in all forms of life. That is why we are reading it under the topic life processes, because it is very, very essential for the very existence, for the very survival of the living organism. So as I have already spoken, in single-celled organism, the waste products are simply discharged directly through the surface of the skin by the process of diffusion, as their body organization is very simple. In animals, in the other groups of animals which are complex, the main excretory products are your carbon dioxide, it can be ammonia, it can be urea, it can be uric acid. So let us talk about the different ways of animal excretion in this slide. So as I have said, when the excretory product is ammonia, those kind of organisms are called as ammoniotelic. If the excretory product is urea, then they are called as ureotelics. And if it is uric acid, then they are called as uricotelics. Now let us talk a bit about the specialities of these excretory products. Now if I talk about ammonia, actually the aquatic animals excrete ammonia. Why? The reason being, it is very toxic, and it uses the organisms use very little energy in the formation of ammonia, and it is highly soluble in water. So because of its high solubility, there is ample water available for dilution in case of aquatic animals. Whereas in case of terrestrial animals, ammonia-like compounds are actually converted into other nitrogenous materials, because on the land, that is, the water availability is less and ammonia itself is highly toxic. So it is usually converted into a less toxic form. Now apart from ammonia, we have other waste products like your creatine, creatinine, hippuric acid, etc. These are other examples of other waste products. Now in case of ammonia, as I was telling, this product is highly toxic and it causes considerable loss of body's water when at the time of its excretion. So it is usually found in the aquatic animals. Now in case of urea, actually this product is little less toxic than ammonia and it causes less loss of body's water. So it occurs in aquatic as well as in land animals. To give you few examples, I may say cartilaginous fishes, then frogs, turtles, alligators, mammals, etc. In all these, urea is the excretory product. Then if I talk about the uric acid, it is the least toxic product. in the terms of toxicity, if I say it is the least toxic product, least toxic excretory product, and it causes least loss of body's water. So it occurs mainly in the land animals, like these groups, like your insects, then land snails, then land reptiles, birds. In all these, uric acid is the main excretory product. In the next slide, we talk about specially birds. Now, birds excrete their nitrogenous wastes as uric acid, and it is in the form of a paste. So that way, it allows the body to retain its water, and it can be stored easily in the egg. Now, many avian species, especially those which are in the sea, that is the seabirds, they can also excrete salt via specialized nasal salt glands. The saline solution leaves their body through the nostrils, which are near the beak. In insects, a completely separate excretory system has evolved, and that is your Malpighian tubules. The Malpighian tubules, there what happens, the metabolic waste that is generated in their body very actively diffuses into the tubule, and that tubule transports the wastes to the intestine, and then from there the body just releases the waste along with the fecal matter to outside. In that way, insects excrete their metabolic wastes. So that was about the birds and the insects. Now let us proceed to the next slide, where we are going to talk about the human excretory system. And in human excretory system, we need to talk about the kidneys, because the kidneys are the main excretory organs in case of humans. So let us talk in brief about the structure of the kidney. Now kidneys, as you can see in this figure, they are bean-shaped reddish brown colored organs, and one kidney lying on either side of the vertebral column in the abdominal cavity, and it is attached to the dorsal body wall. On the inner concave side, this is the concave side, as you can see, this is concave, there is a notch present which is called as the hilum, and blood vessels and nerves, as you can see, they all enter through this hilum. Blood vessels and nerves enter through it, and water actually leaves out through this hilum itself. Now you can see a pair of ureters, that is from each hilum kidney emerges a slender whitish tube, that is your ureter, and within the kidney the ureter is expanded to form what is called as the renal pelvis. So here you can see the pelvic structure, which is shown in this transverse section, TS of kidney. The ureter, this is the white tube which has entered inside, and then how it ramifies and how it branches, you can see here. Here it is labeled as pelvis. So, and within the kidney, the ureter is expanded to form the renal pelvis. Now each ureter is about 30 centimeter long tube, and it opens to the urinary bladder by a slit-like aperture. The ureters carry the urine from the kidneys to the urinary bladder. Now a urinary bladder is a pear-shaped organ, as you can see the structure over here. It is a pear-shaped muscular reservoir for urine, and it lies in the pelvic cavity of the abdomen. The neck of the urinary bladder is surrounded by sphincter muscles which remain closed and open at the time of actually they remain closed. The muscles remain closed. They only open at the time of that is your micturition, that is urination process. The bladder leads to the urethra, which opens outside through the urethral aperture, that is the hole. In human male, urethra is about 20 centimeters in length, and in female it is just about 3 to 5 centimeters in length. So this was about a brief description of the structure of the kidney along with its tubes. So let us stop today's discussion over here, and in the next class we again take up this human excretory system in detail along with the structure of kidney. I will again revise what I have said today, the human excretory system along with the structure of the kidney in brief. Thank you.